Hey everybody, welcome back to Pixel Junkies. You're listening to the Pixel Junkies podcast, episode 156. I'm one of your hosts, Rory DC.
And Adam's not committing, or Andrew, so I'm Aaron. Did you guys do a shtick?
Last week during the podcast, when I was watching it, I turned on the automated subtitles, and it thought that we were the PixelJunkies podcast.
No,
I kind of like that better. So I think we should change that.
Probably change her name.
So who's hot in the world of law?
Who's like a popular lawyer? Who's like a popular lawyer? Who's that? Don't they have this guy always on the news? This Dershowitz dude? Isn't he always on the news? He's like a lawyer.
Dershowitz?
What news?
You mean local news or like?
No, like real news.
A Jewish lawyer.
I didn't know he's Jewish. I mean,
I
don't know, Rory.
what gas station is that?
Esso.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Actually, it's America, so it's probably Esso.
We should go to the McDonald's that doesn't serve like some key McDonald's product.
Yeah, this is
Golden
non-branded.
Oh, damn.
This must be next to Hidden Valley.
So we're playing Far Cry 5, which Aaron
are.
and Andrew have both purchased, and I will purchase when I get more money. How is it,
It's
guys?
very expensive for gas, although it is per gallon.
It is per gallon. I was gonna say it's.
It's also Ubisoft, so that you probably don't like. There's something funny going on with the gas prices.
Yeah, maybe.
It is how you say expensive. I won't do that again. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'll let Andrew talk about it.
That was more French than Canadian French.
Yeah, you gotta have a little bit more of a.
I mean, I can't.
saggy
You
lip.
have to sound more arrogant.
Yeah.
Can you say it more arrogantly?
It is how you say
I like that it's just louder. Same but louder.
No, that's right. It was perfect.
All right, so what do you guys think of it? The
Well, I
Far
give
Cry.
Andrew
There's
give
a-
his impressions. It'd probably be a bit more concise.
They
than I
were
would be.
interviewing one of the
Adam can
spokesmen
say
for
something, yeah.
FIFA during the 2016 World Cup for FIFA, and they were saying why can't because Brazil had a zero alcohol tolerant, no alcohol to be sold in the stadium because there was a lot of deaths related to alcohol in soccer stadiums in Brazil, and they're like, okay, we'll just ban alcohol in order to keep the deaths down. And then FIFA was like, well, if you're going to host the FIFA World Cup, you're going to have to bring alcohol in because we should be able to sell our beer. And the guy who said it, the spokesperson for FIFA is like, I may come across as a little arrogant, but we as an organization should have the right to sell beer. And he came across as...
He said the last word in a total Canadian accent. Carry on.
No. It's fine.
Alright, thanks for the sidetrack for no reason, apparently.
Well, I mean, it just came across as being super arrogant.
Yeah. So what did they succeed though in the
Yes,
end?
they
I
did,
didn't
yeah.
know about this story.
Yeah, they
I'm
did.
sure that has everything to do with the beer and not just Brazilians being psychotic about soccer.
Yeah.
To the point where they can't let... I think it's in the Corinthian in Brazil. You can't let the away fans for that team into the home stadium because they're almost guaranteed to have massive riots if the team loses. Yeah.
There's nothing like putting your sports into perspective.
Remember when was it Argentina or Brazil during the last Olympics lost really bad to Germany? I think it might have been Brazil lost lost really terribly to Germany, and Germany ended up winning. And they were the commentators were getting real nervous during the whole thing. They were like, haha, yeah, so this is a good game. Nice friendly old game of soccer. Haha, definitely no reason. You can see all the fans cracking their knuckles haha, certainly no reason to get upset or anything. Ha!
I can't stand it when sports teams get mad for losing. It's don't lose. Be better at sports.
Yeah.
Stop it. You don't want to lose. There's a good way not to do that.
Screams from the sideline, don't lose! Be better! Your mom was right about you!
And then just imagine 200,000 people screaming that, and then you have a riot.
Wasn't there a bunch of people who were killed in England because they just trampled them to death because nobody knew,
Yeah, probably.
stop, when people were saying stop coming into the stadium, we're full, what people heard was trample the people in front of us to death.
That's what they hear in America at Walmart.
Yeah, 400 people died.
Yeah.
In that game.
Well, I don't know if it was 400, but it was a lot. 400 is like a significant, like.
It was either 400 or 50,000.
I'll never forget seeing the headline. This headline came out of China.
A quarter of
it
the
was
people
like
there.
There was something. This is where I learned like how dangerous crowds were. There was this headline that came out of China. It was like kid trips on stairs, 8 dead, and I was like,
I love those headlines.
What? How? Like, but it's like I guess if you're packed into a really dense space and you got a lot of people, and one guy comes tumbling down the stairs.
Maybe the kid had multiple personalities.
That's an interesting interpretation of that news story.
It's wrong. But...
okay, maybe. Who's to say? So what do you guys think of Far Cry 5?
Well, as I said, I'll let Andrew talk about it because he'll be more concise than I'll be.
I doubt that.
Really?
Hey!
Are those fish in the lake?
We're just starting the podcast now or something?
Forget all that intro bit.
It's good.
All right, thanks.
He really was more concise, if nothing else.
It's good. It plays really well. It's probably the best playing of all the Far Cries.
That would kill you.
That's good. That's what should improve at every sequel, right?
Yeah, I agree. I really like the setting as well. Montana's nice. I think I enjoyed...
I thought this was Maine.
Crate.
No, Stephen King is not driving around.
I enjoyed the setting of Far Cry 4 a little more, I think. Just because it was more unfamiliar. Even though Montana is not super familiar.
But it's North America. If
it's
you set a
North
game
America.
in North America, yeah.
I'm guessing a lot of the wildlife are cougars, wolves, bears, and bighorn rams. And deer.
And turkeys.
A lot of turkeys.
Turkeys are monsters
in
this game.
Turkeys are monsters.
Yeah, that's just real life.
They're birds, and they're very vicious.
Yeah.
Birds in general have bad attitudes.
Yeah, they're pretty savage, though.
Is that just your cougar?
Yeah.
That's a good thing that you just have one of those wandering around.
Yeah, where's Peaches again? Oh, Peaches over there. Alright.
Did
you name him Peaches?
Nah, he's just called Peaches.
They got rid of a lot of, I think, things that were maybe slowing down gameplay loops from past games. So, crafting mechanic is completely gone.
Apart from, you can make explosives and syringes and stuff.
That's true.
The crafting mechanic is gone?
So, remember how in Far Cry 3 and 4
you
you
can
would
craft
have
all
to,
this stuff.
say, kill 4 sharks.
That's right, yeah.
Skin them and you can make a new holster.
Yep, I like that.
That's gone. Now, now you get a new holster when you get when you unlock the perk associated with it. So, so you saw earlier Aaron got into one of those strongholds and he collected a bunch of things and 3 of them were perk points. So he can spend those perk points to unlock perks that will level up his character. Who's a good killer? You also get perk points by completing challenges, say getting 100 headshots or getting so many kills with Peaches, the companion there.
I'm confused. Okay, no, I gotta understand this. So, you, like, kill things and unlock these perk points.
Yep.
And that perk points is how you get items?
So these are the perks.
No.
Okay.
They give you perks.
So they give you perks. Okay.
Yeah, so like, this one gives you...
perk points, and then you go to your perk screen. For audio listeners, you go to your perk screen, you get a big old list of perks. Each perk... Hang on.
Thomas, if you're listening via audio, turn on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Go on.
Each perk costs a certain amount of perk points, and you spend your perk points to unlock the perk.
So how do I get items? How do I get items that I previously would have crafted?
There's really only 2. There's 2 holsters that you would have gotten.
Okay.
And they're both perks there.
Yeah, so
as far as... The perks are a holster?
One of the perk is a holster. Yeah. Another perk would be like you aim your bow faster. Or you get a wingsuit.
That makes sense to me as a perk. I understand perks for abilities. Perks for items is kind of a new concept to me.
I get what you're saying, and I do kind of agree with it.
It's a little whack.
Another perk is to unlock a parachute, and another one is to get the wingsuit.
Did you know that the American cougar is one of the most diverse of hunters in the world? It is one of the few animals that can survive in almost any terrain because it's a very skilled and accomplished hunter. For hunting anything from small prey to big prey over a large quantity, of terrain.
Don't worry, your cougar will lick you.
Come revive me.
Excuse me?
you got fucked up there, Aaron.
There you go. The cougar revived him by licking him.
Tanks
Right.
Another fact about cougars,
the power of love.
Cougars is they can't do that.
Lick?
No, they can't bring you back by licking. In fact, generally it goes
Most
the other
things
way.
can't. Yeah.
I like that that's being criticized, even though in pretty well every combat game ever you can revive your comrades by touching them.
It's a good point.
And nobody says anything.
No,
about
my favorite
that.
one is Battlefield. Anything can be cured if you have a defibrillator. Shot in the head? No problem. Clearly a defibrillator would solve
It's a gameplay mechanic, and forget about it.
Yeah. So I'm not big on the perk thing. That's my only complaint so far.
A lot of the other perks are
actual perks.
Are actual perks you see in like Fallout sort of thing.
I like the map.
So how long until Montana sues Ubisoft for portraying their fucking state as a shithole?
I mean,
when they get video games,
this day and age,
a few years after that, when they caught up to Far Cry 5.
It's like, I just got the... Jesus Christ, your cougar's moving.
Yeah, he runs super fast if it's a he.
Can you put the cougar in the vehicle?
Nope.
No. He prefers running.
So let me get through the good things before I get to the bad.
Sure, yeah.
Like I said, the game plays very well. It's very fluid. The shooting feels great. I do like the setting. Montana's a great setting. I already said that. The story so far is good, if a bit minimal.
Sure.
So basically,
the sandbox game.
It's kind of it's good, but it's also kind of dumb. It's Far Cry. It's a Far Cry story.
The basic plot is a religious cult has taken over this valley in Montana, led by this Joseph Seed character.
It's got to be asked, how does he compare with the other villains of Far Cry? Because villains of Far Cry have become a bit of a thing.
I mean, he's no Vaz, and he's no Pagan Min, who I really liked as a villain.
So he's not as good as the other ones.
It depends, because there's another...
Oh, sorry.
There's a second villain in Far Cry 3.
Yes,
I don't even remember his name.
No, but he was the dude who liked the American version of the Ride of the Valkyries. And because he's like, the brass is better. And I'm like, it really is. And I'm listening to the fucking recording right now. And it's not better. But go on, dude. He was the PMC guy.
So you're saying he's better than the other villain in Far Cry 3?
Yeah.
The secondary villain?
Yeah.
My favorite thing about Far Cry 3 is like, we have this really excellent villain, okay? And when are we going to kill him? About halfway through the game. Who's going to be the backup villain? I don't know, some boring fuck. Do we want to workshop this idea? Nope. It's done.
I forget the actor who plays Vaz, but he's really good.
Justin Long.
It's just Justin Long.
He was, before the podcast joke, or started recording anyway, he was in Spider-Man. He was also
the
Nacho
villain in the new Spider-Man.
Better Call Saul.
He's also in Lost Girl as well. Not Lost Girl, Jesus. Fucking... Girl. What's the show? Orphan Black. Oh. Though that would have been also a good guess. Have you seen Girls?
No.
That's a good show.
With Kylo Ren.
Yeah. Actually, they,
No, Lena Dunham makes me want to kill myself.
Who?
Lena Dunham. She
I thought
wrote...
you said Leah Dama, and I'm like...
Yeah, Leah Dama as well.
Yeah, no, Lena Dunham. She wrote and is an actress in Girls.
I watched Girls. Not to get into Girls, but... wait. But it was... I can see why other people would like it, but it wasn't for me.
It's not for you, yeah. That's fair. And yeah, that's generally the reaction I get when I talk to other people who've seen it. They say, you know...
Although I like in the first episode when they go over
to...
I forget the character's name, but when she goes over to Adam Driver's house for sex, and he's like, look how old you've become.
He
doesn't have the mask on, or anything. He just cups his hand.
Yeah.
What don't you like about this new Far Cry?
Well... Not enough Kylo Ren?
Companion AI is real dumb.
I get this. I'm seeing that the cougar is actually pretty good.
The cougar and the dog, and I think there's a bear companion as well.
Is the bear called Mittens?
No, it's Cheeseburger. His name is Cheeseburger.
That's equally stupid and cute.
Yeah, Cheeseburger the bear.
Mm-hmm.
That's also a I think he was in Tekken 5, wasn't he?
Yeah, Cheeseburger.
It's Kuma from Tekken. They making a crossover appearance in Far Cry. Tekken's canon with Far Cry confirmed.
Is that? Oh man, she's badass. Who's that?
Jess Black Can't you read?
Just Black and Jordan.
I don't see where the names are.
Oh.
They were on the right.
Shoot that.
Why can't you have a wolf as a companion?
Because it's not in this game. You can kill wolves.
But you can't have one as a companion.
No.
Yeah, I don't think a cougar could take down a fully grown cow, but alright.
I've seen Peaches take down a bear at him. And that was
It's
pretty
fine.
badass.
I mean, it's a video game, but in real life, I'm pretty hard pressed to take one down.
Yeah, but it's badass.
Oh yeah, it is badass. Cougars are awesome, man. They're like my favorite. They're my second favorite big cat.
What's your first favorite big cat?
Tiger.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
But cougars are just awesome.
There's pretty much no wrong answer to that, I guess.
They're very underrated. Well, I suppose you could say like lynx.
Yeah, lynx are cool.
Anyway.
They're cool, but they're not like, you know, I would put lynx underneath lion. Of course, these are all living animals. If we were talking about any kind of big cat, obviously it would be the Smilodon.
I'm gonna go with jaguar for my answer.
Mm-hmm.
Good choice. The strongest bite of the per body size of the
true.
cat family.
They can crush your head.
Yeah, they routinely crush crocodile heads. Which
That's
makes them
true. Yeah,
terrifying.
that's how they kill their prey. A lot of them.
Aaron, what's your favorite big cat?
I like tigers.
And
I like the albino and white
the
tigers.
saber-toothed lion.
Cool. That's my favorite too.
Is that what you said?
Well, of the living animals, it would be tiger. But if it's extinct animals, it would be the Smilodon.
Hey, come back and eat that arrow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, there's his gun. That definitely wouldn't be loud at all on this tin roof.
Anyway, the companion AI is real stupid. Also bad about this game, the normal AI is really stupid.
I was just about to ask about that. By normal, do you mean enemy AI?
Every AI in this game is really stupid.
Why?
I don't know. Sometimes the enemy AI does cool things. Sometimes. But any allies or anything, you can basically count them out in terms of helping whatsoever.
Yeah. I did a mission earlier. And the dude is like, the mission's like, follow this guy. So you got in a truck, so I got in the truck with him. He drove backwards and forwards like 10 times until the truck was smoking, and then he got out. He's like, I guess we're on foot from here.
Yeah.
It's like,
now,
we
I gotta
don't
ask.
go anywhere.
Yep.
It's definitely a concern in a game like Far Cry. But it's not as much of a concern as it would be if the AI was bad in Metal Gear Solid. Or Hitman, or something like that. You know what I mean? Where the AI is like an integral part of your enjoyment of the experience.
Right.
However, do you find that the AI in this is bad enough that it's really noticeable on a persistent basis?
I don't think it gets in the way, but...
It also is the AI noticeable in persistent bases. So bases that persist. It's an open world joke. Sorry.
I didn't get it, but now I like it.
Do you?
It's definitely...
I get it now.
It's definitely a problem in linear missions. That depend on... Hey, look, it's Wolf. That depend on AI.
Sure, okay, yeah.
So if you're... I'll give an example. There was a mission I had to get in the back of a truck and man the turret.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, like, it was a time thing, and over the radio I could hear, get in the fucking truck, get in the truck, you get in the way, get in the truck, oh my god, get in the truck, get in the truck. And I'm like in the truck already, but she's not. And I look behind, and she's casually walking to the truck about, 50 meters down the road, just casually screaming over the radio for me to get in the truck. Get in the truck, get in the truck. And then the mission fails because it took too long. Because she took too long to get in the truck. And then the checkpoint, restarts. And she's in the truck, but she doesn't move, and the mission fails. And it's just a repeatable failure.
So that's
I
a
had to
huge
shut
problem,
the whole game
actually.
down and reboot the
Yeah, that should not happen in any circumstance.
Yeah.
I mean, that was I don't think that was the AI being dumb. I think it was just a bug.
The game's pretty buggy, yeah. A lot of the missions are linear to the point of
being linear?
Of being annoying. Annoyingly so. So,
are they
14 minutes into a mission, you didn't stand in this specific spot. So mission failure, trying to replay the whole thing.
Are they linear or are they hallways?
Linear.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so you mean linear in terms of...
Some are hallways, and in those cases, it's just a shootout, right? If you die, it's mostly on you, because you didn't shoot them good enough. You don't shoot good. But In terms of linear level design, it's like, oh, catch this car or
fucking damn it.
You know, blow up this convoy or whatever. But if you're like off whatsoever, you got to do it the way the game wants you to do it. It's similar to Assassin's Creed linearity.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right? So
yeah, that gets on my nerves sometimes too.
But
it's not hugely problematic, but it gets on my nerves sometimes.
Yeah. And I mean, that kind of design kind of goes against the whole open world nature of these games. And
same in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Origins was much better for this, I found.
Yeah, I haven't played... So the last Assassin's Creed game I played was 4.
Yeah.
Who made this? I know it was Ubisoft, but which Ubisoft studio specifically?
Montreal, Toronto. I guess it was both studios.
Yeah.
You wanna
I want to play more Assassin's Creed, because... The thing is, unlike most things where, like, oftentimes it's like the last one I played, like, the last Call of Duty I played was Black Ops 2, which isn't very good.
Yeah.
So it was like, you know, usually that's how you stop on a franchise. The last Assassin's Creed game I played was 4, which is really good. And so I ended on a high note. But I'll probably get back into them eventually. Like, I want to play Syndicate in particular, actually.
So are the missions less linear in the other Far Cry games? Because I haven't noticed a difference in the amount of time I've spent with the other games.
I've gotten more frustrated with Far Cry 5 than I ever did with 4. I don't know what that says about the game, because it's the same types of levels. It's just... I don't know. Things seem to go much worse in this game for me than they have in past games. And maybe that's on me. Maybe it's not the fault of the game.
Well, it's also things can get, like... Frustrations can get past. Adam knows about this, I bet, with, like, certain franchises. Like, frustrations get passed from game to game. So, if you have problems with the 3rd game in a series, and then you see it again in a 4th game, and then you see it again in a 5th game, and it might not be worse in a 5th game, but you feel it more, right? It's like, God, they're still doing this fucking thing. Like, that's what I find with games, at least.
Now, I loved Far Cry 4. Loved everything about it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't think I had any issues with Far Cry 4 at all.
Yeah.
It was...
so you think this is like a fresh kind of thing?
My issue, and it's a small one, and you're totally going to say it's an Aaron issue, that I've had with 3 and 4, is that the world maps feel very much like height maps. Like, all of the mountains are just like rounded hills with like rock texture painted onto them.
Yeah, you're saying there's no real... diversity?
Yeah, it's like pretty much every hill in Far Cry 3 and 4, you can slide down them and without like tripping up or hitting a rock or anything. Like, you just slide down it like it's a slide. And that like aesthetically stands out and annoys me. This game doesn't do that as much because...
I don't really agree in terms of... With 3, I can kind of see where you're coming from.
I played
definitely
like
with
4 hours
3,
of 4.
Yeah.
4 has a lot of mountainous areas.
Well, at least in the start, like the main starting area, there's a lot of those hills. And
there's a lot of verticality to 4. Like a lot more than this game. This game is flat in comparison.
Exactly, and that's why it stands out less, because like even still, like, this looks really good, but at the end of the day, it's
Montana
just
has a lot of mountains.
It's just like a flat bit, so.
As opposed to Nepal, which is all mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in this, they hide it better, I think, because they have, like, where the height map starts to angle down, they stick a bunch of rocks on that bit to make it look less like a slide.
Oh, yeah. In terms of environment, you know, this is near perfect. And the lighting is fantastic. Jesus. The lighting is out of this world.
I'm glad to hear the gameplay is as good as it's been, because sometimes games will regress in gameplay, and to me that's the unforgivable. So, like, Adam always, if there's anything Adam gives credit to Metal Gear Solid, it's, you know, the incremental improvement of its gameplay, like modernized gameplay, and I agree with him, and I think, you know, that's the core thing that should change.
That's why, in my opinion, games like Call of Duty and Halo, with the last one, are terrible, because Call of Duty, I've always felt like the gunplay is regressing rather than... it's not that it's regressing, it's that it's not keeping up. So, like, noises and gun movements that were fine in 4 are no longer fine now, because we have games like Battlefield, Where
Yeah.
Or I mean, even Halo has good sound quality now,
Yeah.
where the guns sound like have a big punch and impact. And when you're playing any kind of Treyarch game now, it's always like, oh man, I'm firing an LMG.
I agree 100%, and I think, like, because I remember back in the day when I was playing, like, Bad Company 2 when that came out, it was like, if you were playing Bad Company 2 and then you played Call of Duty, it was, like, ridiculous. Like, the difference in sound quality, and even the environmental interactions with the gun, with the walls and stuff, were flawless. That's the best sounding game I've ever played, in terms of that kind of game, of course. Yeah. But yeah, so, overall, though, you're happy with the new one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You recommend it.
Yeah.
If you like Far Cry.
Yeah. And, I mean, the little things do stick out. And it might be a case of everything else being so good that the little stuff is more annoying. But stuff like the AI doesn't get in the car with you, that's dumb.
It's as dumb as it's been, though, from my experience. Again.
You don't think it's increasingly dumb?
It hasn't gotten worse. It's the same.
Yeah.
Worse in terms of what? From past games?
In the past games, like in 3 and 4. Again, from my experiences, I played.
Well, in 3 and 4, you don't have companions.
No, but I think you did in 2, but the AI is still as dumb.
But
like
it's better than the companions in 2.
Yeah,
which isn't.
No, it's not saying a whole lot, but still, like when you get into a gunfight in 3 and 4, you still have like idiots in vans driving around in a circle because the AI doesn't know where to go.
You often weren't dependent on them. In this, you fail missions when you are.
Well, I haven't encountered any of that, but
I have, and it's annoying. It's really annoying.
Oh yeah, I can totally see that.
You don't control it, so.
But from what you've described, they sound more like bugs than.
Yeah, and I ran into something that really stuck out. It made me wish Far Cry had a more open-ended story design. So, I had just.
What a shithole.
I had just liberated part of the map.
Uh-huh.
I just taken out one of the 3 lieutenants that you got to take out to beat the game.
Uh-huh.
And then I went over to the second place. I encountered a bug, actually. It was like the first person I talked to. So I took out John, which is probably the first one most people take out. Mm-hmm. Then I went over to Faith's area. The first person I talked to was like, "Thanks for taking out Faith." It was like, I didn't touch Faith yet, but thanks for thanking me, I suppose. Anyway, I got to one place and I met somebody, and it was like, "Hey, thanks for showing up and thanks for saving us in this new area. But I hope you pull your weight around. We don't like people that are just fucking around here." Like, bitch, I just killed the dude over there. It's like there's no recognition at all.
Yeah.
And I immediately tried to blow her brains out because that's the appropriate response to that situation.
Yeah.
And the story doesn't let that happen, right? And it made me think that Far Cry would be better
as a role-playing game,
as more of a role-playing game that allowed those things to happen. And Far Cry 4 did this, kind of. It did it later in the story, when most of the consequences had already played out.
You can pick sides.
You do pick sides, but you can also basically murder everybody in Far Cry 4.
You can attack friendlies in this as well. Probably not, like, essential ones.
Yeah, but it doesn't affect the story.
No, yeah, and I totally understand where you're coming from, but I didn't expect any depth to the story at all in this game.
No, and that doesn't
bother me. Yeah.
I really want to find the person who came up with the exploding trees convention in video games while driving, because it's in so many games.
Well, I would much prefer being able to go through it and it just disappear than it fucking prevent me from going through it when it's a fucking twig.
Well, there's a threshold. It needs to be a certain size.
Yeah, it's a certain.
You
can like wrap your hand around it, then you can drive through it.
I will say, kind of jumping off what you were saying about
I don't know where the hell I'm going
moral choice. There's something I always, or just the role playing. There's something always bothered me about Mass Effect, and I love Mass Effect, but like you'd be like in the middle of the Citadel. And somebody would be like, "Who are you? You don't, who are you? Get out of here! You're a nobody." I'm like, I'm Commander Shepard. Do you like your galaxy? Because I saved it.
I also think this Elder Scrolls is the same problem. It's like you're the Dragonborn, you save them. Oh, did someone steal your sweet roll? It's like, what? You're kidding, right? I just killed the dragon. Like,
I mean, someone did steal my sweet roll.
Yeah.
But see, in Elder Scrolls, you can well, maybe not in Skyrim, but in Morrowind, you'd be able to just kill that person that said that to you.
That's a good point. You know what? That's a not insignificant point.
It's like, fuck you, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
I had the same sort of thing happen to me that you encountered, Andrew, where when you're holding off that prison.
Yeah, that's who I'm talking about. The lady that talks to you in the prison.
Yeah.
And this was after I had just liberated an entire section of the map single-handedly.
I revived her 3 times in that encounter.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "You better pull your weight around here." I was like, "Bitch, I just saved your ass 3 times. Taking an RPG to the head, and I saved you." So
I wanted to talk. Well, I actually forgot it was on the thing. I wanted to talk a bit about Annihilation. So last Friday when we recorded our podcast, I hadn't seen Annihilation. I saw it the next day.
Oh, nice work. Did he just have a heart attack? Leave him.
Well, I guess he did because he got shot in the heart.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, by Battlefield logic, we should be using a defibrillator on him right now. But
I mean, to be fair, if you get shot in the heart, a defibrillator is probably not going to make the situation any worse.
That's a good point, actually. But Adam mentioned that there were some things non-spoilery, but to do with the movie that he wanted to talk about. Now, we've since talked about it, like, outside of the podcast, but just in case there was anything in particular he wanted to mention, someone put this on the list.
So, a couple of things. I thought that...
We've all seen it, by the way, if you're...
Yeah, so there's going to be some minor spoilers here, but not many. Some of the things I liked about it, I thought that the movie had one of the best themes I've ever seen, and the way that the theme was presented in the film was really strongly done and very, not concisely, but very constant throughout the film. It never drops that theme. It's always adding to that central theme, which is something you don't see a lot of times.
Can you talk about what you think the theme is?
I think the theme is that, or at least the main theme, because I'm sure there's a bunch of different themes. But to me, the main theme was that when something big or traumatic happens in your life, afterwards, after you're done dealing with it, you're never the same person. And when you're dealing with it, you often change the world around you. Your life around you, unexpectedly and sometimes unintentionally, but you do change.
So I agree that is a big theme of the movie. I think it runs at least in tandem with the theme of, like, not everything that's, like, the way we perceive evil. Like, especially, like, you guys were talking on the last episode of the not listener, what's the Elder Scrolls? Face Off. About the Daedra, right? And the perceptions of, like, whether or not the Daedra are evil. And I think that's actually a big part of this movie, is, like, there's this force, and it's enforcing change. But it's like, how much do you apply concepts of evil or morality to that thing? I think that's also a big part of the movie. Is, like, do we really view that as evil when all it's doing is changing things? Like, it's viewed in a very, like, us versus them sense. Yeah. But you get the impression that it's not actually really very mutual in that way.
Society exists because life progresses the way it does.
Exactly.
But the movie's like, well, what if it didn't? And then it's like, then all the norms kind of get destroyed a little bit.
What else did you like about the movie?
Well, I thought that the monster in the movie, because there's 2 big monsters, but there's, like, one that's definitely more noticeable than the other, was absolutely astounding.
Really
We're
good.
going to spoil this for you now.
Me?
Spoilers. Skip to this time code to avoid spoilers.
Yeah, Aaron's not going to do that.
Maybe I will.
I think the monster, if there's anything that's received... the movie's received positive reception in general, but if there's anything that's received universal good reception, I think it's probably the monster.
Yeah, skull bear with human voice.
Yeah, so it's a bear with the skull that screams human, and it's like, if anybody's ever seen Full Metal Alchemist, it's like what happens to Nina and Alexander in that, except 1,000 times more terrifying because it's just a bear. And it's genuinely fucking frightening, the sound, and it's mostly the sound that it makes, because it's a human scream mixed with a bear roar, and it's fucking terrifying.
It's really good, yeah.
It's the most tense scene I can remember.
Yeah, I would equate it to the scene at the beginning of, or not even the beginning, the scene halfway through Inglourious Bastards, where they're in the bar.
The bar scene?
Yeah.
Great fucking movie.
And I think the only reason that one is as intense is because it's longer and they draw it out more.
Yeah.
Where the scene, it stuck around the perfect length. Any longer than that would be a bit ridiculous considering what's going on in the scene.
Yeah.
Other things that I liked a lot of the sets and designs. I thought, and this is a very pretty looking movie. On the shot, and it's shot very well.
Mm-hmm.
Some stuff I didn't like. I thought that the dialogue, especially in the first half of the movie, was fucking wretched. And there's just, and it does get better as the movie goes along, but in the beginning when they're introducing the characters, especially the scene when all the women are getting to know each other over beer, is really awkward. It comes across as super forced exposition in a movie that I was expecting better exposition out of. And I found that Natalie Portman's delivery, again, especially in the beginning half of that movie, was pretty fucking poor. Considering I've seen much better work out of her. Now, near the end of the movie, I thought that she was...
Yeah, like Padme?
No, not like Padme. I genuinely thought that at the end of the movie, she gave in... Her performance greatly improved. Especially there's a scene where... she kind of goes in to find one of her dead companions. And then a scene later on where she's kind of crying to herself in just the middle of the woods. Both those scenes were very powerful. And her acting does a lot to portray that emotion. But especially at the beginning, I thought her delivery was quite flat. And I get that's kind of the point, but I feel like she went too far into it, where she doesn't come across as a character who's flat. She comes across as an actress who's uninterested, at least in my opinion. And I thought my biggest gripe is that I think that the movie's ending, it's up its own ass. The imagery that goes on, it gets a bit 2001. And it goes on for way too long, and it just keeps hammering home the same message that we've been getting. And I know I really like that. I said I like that before, and I do. But the problem I have with it is that there's no. The ending keeps going. They could have cut the length of that ending down by half, not like the epilogue scene, but the actual ending scene. They could have got that down by half, I think, and I think the movie would have been stronger for it, because it just goes on and on and on, and the imagery is just it's for a movie that has, I mean, for all, we said it's, there's monsters and stuff, but the movie honestly has a very somber tone, and then this scene kind of comes out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere, but the scene has a radically different tone to the rest of the film, I thought, where it's building, and it loses that very somber tone, and I feel like if the scene had been cut down a little bit more, the tone would have been kept more consistently, and I wouldn't have hated it, because I really did think that the film was just wanking itself off at that point. But I mean, besides that, I thought it was a good film.
So the homework I've given Adam to be completed at a non-specific time.
Okay, because I didn't do it.
Is to watch Alex Garland's Sunshine and see if he has the same problem, because I'm guessing he will. And if he does have the same problem, I'll be able to better identify what the problem is, because Sunshine is similar in the way it communicates its messages. So we'll see.
Is it a P-51?
What did you think of it, Andrew?
I loved it. I do agree that some of the dialogue felt off. Mm-hmm. I really didn't like the dialogue in the when they find the plant bodies.
Yes, that's right.
And the explanation about how they came to be.
Yes.
That dialogue I remember standing out as specifically stupid.
Okay, well, it comes across as like this is pseudoscience that it's reflecting the DNA, and I'm like, you browsed Wikipedia for what DNA is, and then just wrote this into the movie, didn't you?
Well,
because that doesn't make a lick of fucking sense.
To be fair, none of the scientific explanations in these sort of sci-fi movies make any sense.
No,
I got the idea of what they were going for, but maybe didn't explain it the best. I think the idea was just that, it's called Annihilation. The missing half of the title is cellular annihilation. It's like what they were getting at is that cells only exist within certain constraints, and if you remove those constraints, then they can kind of just do whatever. If you start mixing and matching different pieces of stuff, I think the missing part of the movie would have been maybe shit getting really fucked up, because for the most part, it's just like a couple of trees have some mushrooms on them, and like a crocodile has a different mouth on the inside of its mouth.
I would have liked to have seen near the end one of the characters starts turning into a plant, and you never get to really see a very violent transformation.
Well, I just watched Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, she was my least favorite character, so when she disappeared, I was like, okay, good. Maybe she can get better now.
And I guess
like later.
Bye. What the fuck is that, Aaron, on the ground?
Bear. Oh no, that's a bull. Yeah, bull.
That's a big bear.
I thought it was a bear that was running around, but I guess it was a bull.
I mean, I get that was helping develop the theme because it's just an example of another individual dealing with change and the change of personality differently. I get that, but I would have been cool to see some body horror in there where we hadn't really seen that for any of the characters. We
saw the intestines.
Yeah, but that was one scene. It would have been nice to see something else as well. That's not a major complaint. It was just kind of a what if.
You'd want to see more Cronenberg-esque.
Yeah, but again, that wasn't really what the movie was going for. But it's what I thought the movie was going to be going for.
I was saying to Adam and Andrew when we were in the car talking about this a while ago that like Alex Garland always makes these like specialized sci-fi films, zombie science fiction, or like space. He's done a space movie. Mm-hmm. You know, he's done a space movie a superhero aliens. Movie. And he's done a robot movie, and of course none of these things in the old school science fiction tradition, it has nothing to do with the stuff they're doing. The zombie movie has nothing to do with zombies. The space movie has nothing to do with space. They're always about people, right? Which is like it's just like an old like Roddenberryan thing, right? That he would do, right? Star Trek is really about people. It has, nothing to do with space. I was saying, I wonder what I want to see him do next. Yeah. Like, what other kind of science fiction do I want to see him tackle? Me, personally, I wouldn't mind seeing his take on, like, a military science fiction. Like, militaristic, like, science fiction war. Like, I think that would be an interesting one for him.
You should do the next Starship Troopers.
Oh, boy.
I'm doing my part!
Honestly...
such a great movie.
Would you like to know more?
Peaches on the roof.
Yes.
Tarantino is doing the next Star Trek already.
Yeah.
But I really would have liked, personally, to see Garland's take on the next Star Trek movie.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
That would have been really cool. I don't know if you can have both, to be honest.
You can have one and then the other.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah. But, like, to me, he's the more... I said I didn't mind Tarantino, but he wouldn't have been my choice. This would have been my choice, personally. Oh, we've also seen him do a video game. I kind of forgot about that game.
I feel like because Tarantino's a big Star Trek fan, right? That's why he's doing
right.
Yeah. What I think is one of the most interesting films in terms of its history has to be AI, the Steven Spielberg movie, because originally when that movie was being written, it was a Stanley Kubrick movie, and he was trying to write it in the style of a Steven Spielberg movie. And then when he died and Steven Spielberg took over the project, he wanted to make it in the style of a Stanley Kubrick movie.
That's why that movie plays out like it does. If you watch it.
And it's fucking weird. But I found this really interesting that one director was trying to copy the other, and then that director went back to that's so weird and interesting. I mean, it doesn't work at all. Is that a M1A1 carbine?
I mean, it might be. It's called an MS-16 in this. I assume they use the actual guns' names? I don't know.
I don't think these are... Some of them are. I think the AK-47 is an AK-47.
It's like an AKM, there's an AK-47, but other weapons, they don't use the names. I don't know. Who knows?
The three-way carbine.
Oh man, don't you want this?
I fired a gun like that. That has...
Getting back to Annihilation, however. Regarding the ending, I thought it was perfect. I wouldn't have changed a thing with the ending.
Yeah, after thinking about it, I agree.
With the entirety of the encounter at the end.
You mean the whole ending? The whole last you're talking about the epilogue as well. Yeah.
The very ending as well.
Yeah.
I like the epilogue. I like the very ending as well. I didn't like it at first, but after thinking about it,
can we also give a shout out to Benedict Wong, who's in the movie for 2 seconds? And
a bit longer than that, but yeah,
gives a killer performance and like says a few things behind a hazmat suit, and is still compelling and still stands out. You still know it's him when you watch the movie. Man, super good. What is this? Why does this say Tekken 7 rank via Adam?
Oh, it's supposed to be rant.
Oh, did Adam have a Tekken 7 rant? Did he put this on the list?
No,
he asked me to put it on the
list.
Oh,
okay.
So, Tekken 7. So I've beaten the main story recently.
We have a special on. It just came out. You can watch it. It's our last video.
And the second part is coming out next week, hopefully.
Yeah, well, it was a 2-hour
I'm sorry,
recording.
is it split?
I had to split it because it was 2 hours long.
I didn't notice. I only saw the first few minutes of the video.
So after playing it, I can say that it is probably the worst story I've ever played the worst campaign I've ever played in a video game by a company.
Oh yeah, we're
that
supposed to
can do
collect
better.
the cows.
Because like I understand, like if you're getting like some bullshit Steam thing on Steam that's being made by some grad student who wants, whatever,
wants some
like,
extra bucks.
You're Jesus Christ. You're gonna get what you pay for.
Oh, all right. Mission complete.
But when you're dealing with a company, I mean, there's Bandai Namco makes Tekken, right?
That's correct.
When you're dealing with this kind of company who's made good games before, I feel like the laziness that went into this campaign is absolutely astounding. And here's why. It's not just that the story is absurd.
To be fair, I think it's a little more craziness than laziness from my perspective, but carry on.
Well, see if you follow what I'm saying. But I mean, it is crazy, don't get me wrong. And there's like the plot is just... Let's put aside the fact that the plot is that cow having sex?
That cow was humping that cow. That bull was humping the cow.
No sex.
Who has sex with the chicken? Does anyone get that Seinfeld reference? He was like, what was it? So the rooster has sex with the hen, who's having sex with the chicken.
Look at that pee.
And he's like, well, they're all chickens, so the chicken has sex with all of them. Oh, that's perverse.
well, that's just got demonetized.
That's the thumbnail for this.
Oh, we've been
episode.
demonetized since February.
Don't
worry about it.
Forgot about that.
Wait, is that true?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Aaron,
Why?
you gotta get closer.
You two just saved $2. Anyway, sorry, carry on, Adam.
So, putting aside the fact that the story is absolutely fucking absurd. And it's terribly written. The pacing is all over the place. In terms of that, but also it fails as a. It fails as a fucking story. I think it's bad at your cat.
Alright, well, take him down,
as a campaign for fighting game, because over the course of that campaign, you get to play as Heihachi, you get to play as Akuma, you get to play as Alyssa, and you get to play as Lars, and you get to play as
Nina.
That's Word Boy.
And Nina.
Yeah, you get to play as a lot of people in that. I think we even forgot some of them.
Oh shit, I'm gonna be spotted.
Like, to be honest, because I think you might also... but did you say Kazuya? Because I think you get to play one level as Kazuya.
You get to play the beginning as Kazuya.
No, I mean you get to fight Akuma as Kazuya.
Well, that's in the super special thing I'm not doing.
No, I mean earlier on in the story.
No, because when you're fighting, when you're Akuma fighting Kazuya on top of the building, you're Akuma.
Are you?
Yes.
I don't remember.
Because
yeah,
it's right before he uses the Death Star.
Okay, sure. Okay, yeah, sorry. So you don't play as Kazuya, really?
Yeah, and you keep playing as the same characters over and over. I'm like, this is a fighting game. Why can't... I mean, like, look at another, other games, the other fighting games that have come out that introduce their characters better. So, like, I don't know, like, just... And to my mind, what a fighting game story should do is let you play a chapter or two as each character. A good example is Injustice games.
Okay.
Where each character has their own mini chapter, and they get like 3 fights. And so you get to play as Green Arrow, and you fight Harley Quinn, and you fight Solomon Grundy, and you fight Sinestro. And then the next chapter is Harley Quinn, and you get to fight these 3 characters.
Okay, yeah. And it's not the same. Presumably, it's not the same from the other side. Like, if you're Green Arrow and you fight Harley Quinn, you're not Harley Quinn then fighting Green Arrow.
No,
right?
I mean you don't get to play as every character in the game because
there's too many characters in fighting games.
No, but you get to play a good number of the characters.
You should be able to play more characters in this, by the way.
Yeah, and it's
Mortal Kombat does the same thing.
Yeah, you bet.
And it's terrible because I'm playing
NRS games do.
I'm playing this game. Why can't I play as Yoshimitsu? Like, and I was like, well, it's not part of the story. Yeah, but why isn't he?
Yeah,
why are you writing a story where half the characters don't matter? Where like the majority of the characters do not matter?
So can I say something about that? Because I agree 100%. I think the way to rectify that isn't to do the NRS thing that they do for Injustice and Mortal Kombat. And if there's any other NRS games, let me know in the comments. But I would like it if they did the old Tekken thing, where each character had their own story.
Yeah.
That was like 8 fights long, and like it was self-contained.
Yeah.
So that way you don't have to figure out how Yoshimitsu hangs out with Kuma or something weird like that.
And that would be fine too, but
they don't have that in this.
No, and it comes across as very lazy because in my opinion, is that a coyote?
Maybe a wolf or something.
in my like a fighting game story should introduce you to each of the characters, let you play as them in a very controlled setting. So
I agree.
So when you go to play competitive, you know which ones that you like.
It's not that hard either, right? Like they've done it.
Yeah.
So I mean, when we played, we did Tekken 4, right? Yeah. That's what Tekken 4 is.
I mean, even fucking Soul Calibur did that.
Yeah, you bet.
And we're like with Soul Calibur, you get to play as each character has their own mini campaign. That's why, like, I mean, Lizard Man in Soul Calibur is not important enough to the plot that he would, if there was one story, he would get.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, you get to play as his story, so I'm like, yeah, he wins Soul Calibur at the end of that.
I agree 100%. I think that's a way better way of doing it because, like, to be honest, I don't play most of the characters that are in the Tekken 7 story, and so it's like a real disappointment for me.
Yeah, because you don't get to play as what's her name,
Lucky Chloe.
Yeah, or as the mother
Kazumi, who's the other character I play.
Yeah,
I mean,
I like Yoshimitsu, and you don't get to play him. You don't get to play as King or anything.
No, it was a classic Tekken character.
Yeah.
Not in the story at all. Not that you just can't play it.
And beyond the fact it's lazy about his character choice, it's also lazy because you the voice acting in many cases, as we showed with the narrator, is fucking awful.
The narrator is narrator stands out with how bad he is because of how good the characters are.
Yeah.
It's like Heihachi's got a great voice and all this, right?
I mean, like, it's obviously not like, super dramatic dialogue, like super like impactful, like this is like award-winning dialogue, but it fits the character.
Good is like a different thing in this,
It's like in Dragon Ball Z, where it's like, this is not, we're not talking like, like Alex Garland level, I mean, whatever, like we're not talking about like Oscar-winning performances here,
exactly.
But I mean, like, the guy who voices Vegeta fits Vegeta.
Exactly.
And I don't know, there's just other stuff that's, the cutscenes aren't, are the fact they're just kind of still images. I would understand it if everyone got their own story and you need the save time.
I agree.
Okay, well, fair enough, but there's only one story.
That's what they were in Tekken 3, I think.
So why not have full cutscenes, like...
I agree. The biggest standout for me is, well, besides the campaign thing, the fact that they don't have a story for each character, which really bugs me. The other thing that stands out for me is there's no tutorial mode.
Yes.
Why is there no tutorial mode? Every other fighting game I played, BlazBlue has a terrific tutorial mode. It has beginner tutorials, intermediate, like advanced and expert. And in each one, the way you play through it is like, here, do this. And you, like, do it, and you get some sort of, like, reward for it. It's like, hey, you passed this challenge. Like, Dragon Ball FighterZ, I think, is the same way, actually.
Yeah.
And it's like, fighting games are hard. There should be a tutorial mode. Why is there tutorial modes in really, like, super easy games? It's like you play an FPS game. It's like they got a tutorial level. It's like, who doesn't know how to play a fucking FPS game? So it's like, to not have one in a fighting game is bananas to me.
I mean, there are games where, like, you don't really need... But there's also ways of doing tutorials correctly. Like, I always thought that a really good tutorial for a shooter was the tutorial for Modern Warfare 1.
Yeah.
Where it's because it feels like, it's a tutorial, but you're training as the guy.
It makes sense,
and you're doing the obstacle course, which is interesting because it introduces a time trial mechanic, which you can go back and try and beat your own time. And I've never been able to beat fucking Jazz. I don't think it's possible. Fuck that. But that was done very interesting. I mean, you can do tutorials better, but like the fact that Tekken doesn't have it at all, it just seems to me.
Really weird.
I can't comment on the multiplayer because like I don't play the multiplayer.
I'll tell you, it's the best it's ever been.
Yeah, and I get that, but why did it take 3 years for this game to go from
arcade to console? Yeah,
sure. Because there's nothing. I don't see any reason for that.
Because the story's so lackluster.
Well, the single player is so lackluster in every capacity.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it shouldn't have taken that long to port it to consoles and PC from the arcade. That doesn't make any sense.
Especially, in my opinion, Tekken itself now, like Tekken 7, in some ways is the best fighting game out there, but in some ways it's also the worst, and it's behind its peers. Like, in all the... Let's put it this way. In the most important things, I think it's the best.
Yeah.
And in these things, which they may be secondary, but they're still part of it, right? Like single player, a lot, especially new players. Like if you've never played Tekken, you're not hopping into ranked and jumping online, and unless you like really like losing, like you're gonna want to play and learn the controls, right?
Maybe you'll win like against the Evo champion somehow. And then that's the only match you ever play.
I guess moving on from that, so apparently, Microsoft is, I heard the week is cracking down on language or something in its voice chat. Andrew, can you explain that? I don't know if you.
It's not voice chat.
So I don't really know anything about the story. So can Aaron or Andrew explain what's going on?
Hey, Adam.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy sending
No.
zesty nudes to your friends? over
Why zesty?
I don't know. I was looking
Because
for
what I do to my skin.
And
is
you landed on a Doritos flavor.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they didn't invent the word zesty, but I like where your head's at, Roy.
Well, what I do is I.
You don't cover yourself in Dorito dust.
No, what I do is when I go to send nudes,
Imagine that in your anus.
I take a grater and I grate my arm to get the flakes off, and then I put that into a meal in order to get it the Adam Facey flavor.
It'd be pretty zesty.
Which is gross. Don't do that. But
yeah, don't try that at home.
using the zest
don't
of a lemon
grind
or
up your
orange,
arm.
in recipes is a really good way to get some of that flavor in there, because the zest of a lemon and an orange are some of the tastiest parts.
So Andrew's done a terrible segue, and somehow Adam made it worse. But
I gave him a really good segue, and you ignored it, so I just went double
How
down.
about this one? Do you like talking to people not in person?
No.
Yeah.
Do you like shitty voice chat services?
Well, you better not say any fruity language, or you're going to get your ass handed to you personally by Phil Spencer.
Have you not switched to Discord?
You ever get angry on when you're playing an Xbox Live game and you say the no word like
Darn?
shoot or darn? Well,
man, this
I hope
video's
you don't
already
have any
flagged.
money in your account, because that'll be forfeit when Microsoft bans
Okay,
you.
Well, that's a gosh darn shame.
So that's the first. Can we emphasize that that is exactly how it's phrased in the term? Is if you have in the terms that they released, if you have money in your account, like it can demand the forfeiture of that money, or say your Xbox Gold membership.
Well, we should probably outline the details.
Oh yeah.
They're in the patch notes for a recent Windows update or something. They said that for Xbox, Skype, OneDrive, and
Office,
that any offensive language or nudity will be considered a bannable offense.
Wait,
yes.
Office?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. Don't worry.
So they'll effectively, by agreeing to those terms of service, you're allowing Microsoft to have access to your files in case of any sort of offensive language or nudity is present, and they have the ability to then just delete all of it and ban your account, and if you have any money tied to those accounts, then that's removed as well.
Well, I think the access to the files thing, that part might not be new, but now we know that they're potentially at least looking for offenses. And as I think Aaron really pointed out in the chat when we were talking about this, and it's a good point, this probably won't actually be enforced to any significant degree.
Yeah.
It's still stupid. Also, how the fuck can you be offensive in Microsoft Office? It's an offline application.
Well, God help you if you're a biology student and you gotta reference dirty no-no things like penises and vaginas in your papers.
Why?
Better hope you don't have an Xbox Live account with money in it.
I mean, I write fiction.
Yeah.
Oh, you're fucked.
Yeah, I was gonna say, am I fucked now?
Because, I'm fucked too, by the way.
Because
Plus,
some of my
this
characters
video
swear
where I
because
said "fucking" it is on my hard drive.
Yeah,
oh no! Hope you don't have any money in your Xbox Live account or an Xbox Gold
Pixel
membership.
attorney.
My characters swear because people swear in real life, so it's a reasonable.
Oh, but that's offensive, Adam.
So, as a private citizen using a program I bought and paid for on my own server,
but you're simply renting the program. You simply purchased
a license.
The license.
You bought the privilege.
This makes me want to find Bill Gates, haul his sweater vest over his head, and punch him out. Like
Bill Gates
is not making this.
He probably read that too and was like, "God damn."
For the record, Bill Gates isn't making any Microsoft decisions.
Yeah, but I mean, Bill Gates has it too easy.
He can jump over a chair from standing.
Yeah.
Have you seen that video?
Well, that was 30 years ago, but yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, still. He can also dance to the Rolling Stones' Start Me Up, which is a great video that you totally shouldn't watch. So this is just...
Bill Gates has autism.
Does he?
He's got Asperger's.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Can you fetch with the animals in this? They need to add that. Ubisoft, add that. You need to be able to fetch with your animals.
I should say, I think he has Asperger's.
Okay,
I read that
so
somewhere.
Here's the thing. I've never heard it, and Adam's never heard it. I'm getting a little skeptical about this, but we'll see.
I was 100% sure until I said it. I was like, Maybe I should say I think he has.
Yeah.
I'll look it up later and report back.
Let us know, Bill.
Now.
But regardless, so this is weird. But like, here's the thing that stands out most to me about this. So this is a story about the Microsoft ecosystem, because that's how things work now. There's the Google ecosystem, Gmail, YouTube, Google Drive. You know, there's a whole bunch of services, right? There's the Microsoft ecosystem, Outlook, Skype, OneDrive. The Microsoft ecosystem is terrible.
I like Word.
It's not integrated. That's not really part of the ecosystem, though. Really, not the connected part of it.
Rory forgot the best part.
Oh shit!
What? Bing. Oh Jesus! Yeah, Bing. Actually, no, that's a good point because it helps my point.
I think my favorite comment on Bing was when John Oliver was like, "Bing, the best way to Google something."
Yeah, and the thing is, like, the Microsoft ecosystem is just not particularly good, and part of that is because Google offers a competitor.
Yeah.
That's most importantly, I think. Honestly, I think the biggest part of it is YouTube with Google Drive. Honestly, a close second.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are using Google Drive now, even in educational settings. Adam knows. Adam's done courses that were integrated with Google Drive.
Oh, yeah, it's really really helpful. And really easy to use.
My criticism always when someone comes out with
unless you're my teacher, in which case you're just beyond hope. But that's
fair. When someone comes out with a new streaming service, I'm always like, this is a pain in the ass because we already have this. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I feel with the Microsoft ecosystem. I'm like, I'm using the Google one already, and it's connected to things I care about. Yeah. I care about YouTube. Gmail, I don't care about YouTube, the other stuff, like
all that kind of stuff.
Gmail's the dominant email client, probably because it's better than Outlook. Yeah. Sorry.
It's also better than pretty much everything else because I'm using for work we have to use fucking Bell Alliance email service and it sucks. Oh my god, does it suck? It's the slowest, worst emails. You know, in like Gmail, if you want to delete a bunch of emails in a row, you don't.
Why do you have to use that one?
Because that's what my boss's professional email is, and that's what everyone knows.
So why don't you just forward that email to your Gmail inbox?
That's a good question, Aaron.
There you go. Google's already thought about it.
Well, we've improved Adam's workplace productivity.
No, we haven't, because I brought it up to him, and he doesn't want to do it because he's used to that one, don't you see?
Yeah, but for you, though. Or is it all the one machine or something?
Well, but, like, he doesn't want it forwarded, and I've asked him, yes. Anyway... So when you open up an email in Google and you want to delete a bunch, or Gmail, you just go to toggle and you can toggle a bunch and delete them without having to open them up. In webmail for Bell Alliance, you
gotta open the emails.
You have to open each individual one, look at it for about a second, and then you can delete it, which takes about anywhere between 10 to 15 seconds to delete an email.
And also for everyone who watches this and says, well, the Google ecosystem, Google collects a lot of data on you. If you care about your data privacy, you're not using Microsoft either. Go fuck yourself.
No, because I guarantee you, yes, Microsoft is also doing
it's
that.
Also collecting data. If you want anonymous email, there are ways you can do that.
And why do you care unless you're a criminal? Like, what are you doing?
Well, a lot of people want anonymous email for like. So let's say you're in a place where like.
Where they do drug dealings.
Where you're like a journalist or something like that, and anonymity is like a part of your job, or you're a source for a journalist or something like that, and you want anonymous email. But those people don't go, oh, I can't use Gmail, I'm going to hop on over to Outlook. Those people use actual anonymous email services that exist for specialized purposes of anonymous email. Like, people are so crazy, man.
That's it, we'll all be on .onion servers. This time next year.
It's like the same people talk about the like Messenger collecting data on your phone. They're like, oh, well, you're on your iPhone, you should delete the Messenger app because it's collecting data. I'm like, yeah, but I'm on my fucking iPhone. If I cared about my privacy, I wouldn't own one. Like, it's so ridiculous.
Yeah. I'd say it's not official whether Bill Gates has Asperger's. Some people say he does, some people say he doesn't.
I feel like if it's not official...
Yeah, I should probably say... Maybe he may have it. Maybe.
Yeah, but anyone may have it. People say stuff about everybody.
Yeah. Yes.
So there you go.
So this Microsoft thing's kind of dumb. But
I don't know how big it is either. The only information we got from it was a guy who found the patch notes and then was like, "Oh my god, hey guys, look at this."
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't like Microsoft being like, "This is what we changed and this is why we changed it."
Did Microsoft even release a statement about this yet?
I don't know if they have at this point.
I think this kind of thing has been in their TOS for a while, though.
Yeah.
I think it's just now being like, oh my god.
Sorry, Peaches.
Nice job.
Always fun, alright.
It's been in a lot of people's TOS.
Yeah.
Really.
I gotta be honest with you. The fact that
nice job, Peaches.
That was a table.
Oh.
table, Jesus Christ. The fact that that we live in a world where yeah, well, I mean, the world we live in now is one where companies can really do what they want and change their terms of change their terms of service on a whim. So my advice to you as a consumer is don't act on the internet any differently than you act in real life.
That's how Hitler won World War II.
Yes. Or, if you're going to... unless you know...
He changed his TOS at the last minute, and everyone just hit accept.
What I mean he was using the same TOS the whole time.
What I mean is...
Yeah, he really was.
It's unless you could go completely offline, it's almost impossible for somebody not to be collecting data on you about something, whether it's Google or Twitter or Facebook or what have you. So, be very careful with what you're doing online, and don't act out of character. Don't act... don't say shit that's, terrible, because people will, it's conceivable that somebody could find out. Don't put nudes of yourself online, because again, it's conceivable that somebody could get access
to we recently learned when that guy got convicted with the Hitler dog guy.
What?
You guys not read about this? I'm the last person to figure out about any news.
Yeah, okay.
Take my gun!
This guy, yeah. So, that guy, that's super whack. And I heard no one express an opinion other than that. Like, oh wow, that's crazy.
I'll rescue you.
No one's.
Dead.
I've literally heard no opposing opinions about that incident.
It's Spider-Man. You killed Spider-Man.
Oh man, that's a human spider.
Like that's an actual situation where a guy said something on the internet and it had a definitive, obvious impact on his life.
Mm-hmm.
That's so stupid, by the way, that happened.
I mean, at the same time, be careful with what you're putting up online. That's just generally good advice anyway. But at the same time, you have to worry. You have to think about volume. Google's probably getting information from at least 3 billion people, if not more. So at the one time, yes, they're collecting data about you, but they're collecting data about everyone, and you're going to be lost in the ocean.
And I mean, that wasn't a data collection issue because that got found, right? So that's like its own sort of unique brand of weirdness.
We should probably move on.
But and if you really do want some form of privacy, if you want a torrent or whatever it is that you like doing, there's ways of doing that.
Use a VPN.
Use a VPN for one thing. Try not to have one that's hosted in the United States.
Again, we at Pixel Junkies are not saying that you should... We're definitely not saying that you should go out and pirate something. No, don't do it, but
I'm generally saying you should use a VPN for
I think you should use a VPN in general.
Yeah.
If you're interested in protecting your privacy.
And if you're interested, you can use a VPN to pirate. We're not saying do it, because that would be terrible. But the option
I'm not even saying use it to pirate. I'm saying use it for your life.
Yes.
I recommend it. And if you're interested in anonymous browsing, Tor is a thing that exists.
That's only for those dark web dweebs.
I recommend...
The dark web is a weird place.
Tor is a fine place to browse your internet. It's a fine service. Maybe if you're a really dedicated fan, you can support it by putting a relay in your house if you're interested in actually supporting people having privacy.
Can you use it?
So
it's the...
Oh, I thought you meant a relay. I was like...
Far Cry Arcade is like the map creator, so you can play other maps people have made.
That's pretty cool. So there's ways of doing things. If you're interested in anonymous email, there's always Proton Mail, which is a service I recommend that you use. If you don't want people fucking around with your privacy. So there's ways out there, and there's lots more that you can look up. There's lots of good resources out there. So I recommend you do that if you are really interested in protecting your privacy. So what else we got? We got Pacific Rim Uprising impressions from Andrew.
Adam. Yeah.
Yep.
Do you enjoy giant robots fighting monsters?
Yep.
Well then, you might enjoy a little something I like to call Gundam Wing.
I find that Gundam Wing is very hit and miss. There's some I like.
Also, I don't think there are any monsters in Gundam Wing.
Well, I mean, the real monsters are humans.
You mean the fans, right?
Yes.
I mean, you can take
it. Do you? Are you familiar with the little-known franchise called Pacific Rim?
I am.
Whoa, ready.
Did you know that there's a new movie that's out?
I've seen it.
Oh. Well, then you know more than I do at this point, so
yeah.
Take it away.
So, I went to see Pacific Rim last Saturday, the new one, Uprising. I guess the best thing I could say about it is, or not the best thing, but if you like the first one, you'll like the second one. If you did not like the first one, you will not like the second one, because the second one is more of the first one. I mean, everyone in the movie turns in a satisfactory, as Roy would put it, performance, where we're not talking Oscar-worthy, but we're not talking like they phoned it in. They were just, everyone was fine.
Everyone knows they're in Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The plot is a little bit deeper than Pacific Rim 1, so there's a bit more going on. It's not just a where Pacific Rim 1 is probably the most basic story out there. Pacific Rim 2 has like one or two twists and turns, which kind of kept me interested. But I mean, like, again, like, when the plot is not the reason why you're going to see the Pacific Rim movie. The reason you go to see a Pacific Rim movie is because you want to see giant robots beat the shit out of other giant robots and monsters, and that's what this game delivers in spades. Did I say game?
Yes.
Movie.
There's a game?
There was one. It wasn't very good. It was like a pseudo fighter thing. It was awful. And that's what this movie does really well. There are more. I think there's 2 more fights in this movie than there were in the other one. And in my opinion, the fights are better because it's unlike in the first one, where it's really just like a one-on-one fight for the most part, which was fine for the first one. This is like there's a couple of one-on-one fights. There's a couple of 2-on-1 fights. There's a couple of like 4-on-3 fight. You know, there's 1 4-on-3 fight. And they're good. They're fast-paced, frenetic, and they're filmed correctly, where it zooms out and lets you see all the action, and they're just good. Like, they're just like fun. Don't have to think about it. Beat the shit out of each other. Rock'em sock'em robots fights. I went in.
Someone's clipping their nails.
Oh, it's I'm my whatever this is, carabiner, and
you don't appreciate.
Well, Andrew's dead.
What's it called when you clean yourself?
Cleaning?
No.
Hygiene?
Showering?
You don't appreciate hygiene.
I hope that's how I die, mid-sin. You don't appreciate,
and that
was the last we heard of Aaron.
Yeah, so just to finish up,
on,
like I said before, if you like the first one, you like this one. If you're just in the mood for like a really cool robots fighting monsters movie, this will satisfy the itch. It satisfied the itch in me, and yeah, it was. I liked it. I will probably get it when it comes out on Blu-ray.
Was the absence of Guillermo del Toro as the director
that was my
noticeable?
question.
No.
So that's interesting
because it was filmed in it was filmed very similarly in well, I didn't notice a big change in style to the first one. So
when was the last time you saw the first one?
About 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
So that's really interesting to me because when in the 300 films, of course, Zack Snyder didn't do the second one, and in my opinion, it's noticeable. But I also like the second one more. I think the film was actually better served without Zack Snyder, even though I quite like Zack Snyder. So it's interesting to me that you can't notice it in this one.
I will say there's some parts of this film. I mean, this film has its problems. Don't get me wrong. Like,
sure.
One of the characters is superficially the new female character, the young girl, is superficially identical to Mako from the first film.
Oh, really?
And to my point, it's like, well, why couldn't we just have Mako? I like.
Is it Mako in this?
Yes, and actually, her character gets a bit of a I don't want to spoil what happens, but her character
there's an arc.
Yeah, it completes her arc.
She dies.
Not necessarily.
She gets transformed into a kaiju, and they kill her.
Yep. Noticeable absent is the character Riley,
cool.
played by Charlie Hunnam. He was not in it.
Yeah, Charlie Hunnam.
Although they make mention to Hannibal Chow, and I'm kind of glad he wasn't in it because he didn't need to be in it because we already saw him in the first one. But it would have been nice to see him because he was an awesome character.
Charlie Day is the lead in this one,
right? He's one of them.
Can you imagine?
I mean, he's back in it.
Wait, what?
He's not. He's not super. He's not like a super important part of the movie.
That's how you.
Like it's more like I'm showing up because I was in the first one, and I'm just here to kind of wave the flag.
As opposed to the first one where it's like I'm showing up. I don't know why.
Yeah, I will say me and the guys kind of sat down before I was going to go see it, and we were talking like, here's what the plot is going to be, and the plot wasn't that. It wasn't like the box standard plot.
That's good.
I mean, it's pretty box standard, but it did have a few twists, like genuinely big twists. That I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Can I ask a legit question?
Mm-hmm.
I don't climb a lot of ladders in my day-to-day life.
Yeah.
But when you climb ladders, do you put your hands on the side of it as opposed to on the bars?
You can.
Really?
Sometimes,
that seems like strictly less secure.
You can climb faster with your hands on the side.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. That makes sense to me.
Well, yeah, it depends on the ladder, too. I mean, this is so stupid, but anyway. Sometimes the rungs are closer together and you step over multiple.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Also, I think you get a better grip with your hands on the side. You can shift the center of gravity a little better.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, speaking of kind of giant creatures...
As someone that climbs a lot of ladders...
Speaking of giant creatures, we finally saw some gameplay from Jurassic World Evolution, which is the new park management simulation game by Frontier, who you'll know on this channel also did the Elite Dangerous games, but are in reference
more
to
relevantly.
This game. Yeah, they did Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 and more recently Planet Coasters, which are probably the two best kind of park business simulator games out there. Certainly two of the best.
You missed one, Aaron.
And they were...
Missed what? That down there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if there's anything at the top.
And
there is.
The game looks good. This is what I want from a Jurassic Park game, is the ability to run my own Jurassic Park. And I'm really looking forward to
hopefully you run it better than any of the historic Jurassic Parks.
Well, here's the thing. Everyone's like, these are super predators that are super hard to control. Like, they're just animals. They're not hard. The only ones that could give you trouble here is the T-Rex, because it's or any kind of big carnivore. But you have the same problem with bears and tigers. It's just the trouble of trying to contain a big apex... Oh, you're dead. A big apex...
And that's why you put your hands on the rungs.
The sound of the body hitting that.
Any of the big sauropods, because it's going to be hard to try and contain a 100-ton animal. Like, there's no fence in the world that's going to be able to keep a brachiosaur in, because it's just too big. And that's the only...
A bullet fence would.
Good work.
A bullet fence. A fence of bullets.
So have you guys...
on top of each other?
No,
I think he means shoot it.
Yeah, just shoot it if it gets too close.
I mean, I guess you need a pretty big round to put down a brachiosaur, though.
So have you guys watched the gameplay?
Seen any of the gameplay? I watched half of it before I came over. I didn't get to finish it, but it looked good.
I was too pissed off that you weren't talking about Evo that I couldn't think and I couldn't watch the gameplay.
I
was just kidding. I just busy.
What did you think about it, Aaron?
Well, if I may speak from probably the biggest Frontier fanboy in the group.
Narrowly, but yeah.
Narrowly. Got to compete for that. But primarily because I think I have the most experience with Planet Coaster.
Yep.
Which would probably be the closest to it. From the gameplay that I've seen, it's what I expected in many aspects. Yeah, when you shoot the lock, the whole thing explodes. It's what I was expecting in many aspects. That's not like a bad thing. It's pretty well up to Frontier standards, I think, because a lot of the games follow sort of some of the same gameplay loops. In other aspects, I was kind of disappointed. It seems like there's a very strong focus on the dinosaurs, which totally makes sense. But from the management side, there doesn't seem to be a massive amount of customization. This is just from the gameplay. There might be stuff that you can unlock later or stuff that they just didn't show in the demo. But the terraforming tools and a lot of... Oh, do I have to do this? Oh, no, it's just up there. Okay. The terraforming tools don't seem to be that robust. In comparison to Planet Coaster, it seems weird that it's lacking a lot of the customization. Because if you haven't played Planet Coaster... You can literally do anything. Like, you can if something doesn't exist within the game, you can just make it, and it's not difficult. It has very, very intuitive...
You can't just make things in real life, Aaron.
Well, I'm saying, like, if there's a specific type of building, like, for example, a lot of the shops in the game, like, if you wanted to make a fast food store, like you could in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 or 2 or whatever those games, it would be like a preset store, and you could place it and maybe change the color of the size of the building or something. In this game, it's just like you can get pre-made ones by Frontier themselves. You can get ones made by the community, but primarily it's just a box with a stall, and they leave it up to you to like put panels on it and like make the whole thing from scratch, basically. Yeah. And there's like thousands of assets that you can customize stuff with. What is this? Oh, it's up here. So it's very robust. So it's kind of weird to see that it's Jurassic World Evo seems to be lacking in a lot of those. And
it could just be because we're seeing a demo. Is this a beta build of the game?
It's definitely a development build.
So I mean, they might bring in these examples later because like
not shoot from this.
You could you could
swing to that platform.
I mean, you could say that this is a not just a dev build, but it could be like just a tech demo mainly.
Yeah.
So we might not be seeing a finished product, but if that's the case, I will certainly be very disappointed because.
Now that's not to say that it's not like fleshed out in any way. It very much seems like it's a full game from what I've seen. It's just lacking in a few things that I think would be cool.
There's a fair number of dinosaurs from what I saw.
Yeah, and that's really where the focus is. Like this isn't just like click on a dinosaur and now you have it. Like you can send out teams all over the world, kind of like how it worked in Assassin's Creed, where like it goes into like its own mini game where you can select places on the Earth and send teams there to do research, and then they collect like a genome of a dinosaur in like historically accurate places, and then you can
like
basically
velociraptors in North America,
San Francisco.
And then you can complete the genome.
Scrape the dead ones off the ground from the second movie.
Well, from like dig sites and stuff. You can go to dig sites.
Bingo. Dino DNA. Sorry.
Anyway, so then you can like combine I think the basic one. You unlock more as the game goes on, by the looks of it. But
can you build attractions? You have a roller coaster over the T-Rex.
No, it's all of it. Just like about enclosures. Like there's 3. I think it's security, science, and entertainment are the 3.
They had rides and stuff in Jurassic World.
They did. You can build like the ball thing that they have in World. Like you can build that as well.
Paragliding and call it dinosaurs.
Anyway,
pterosaurs.
Or pterosaurs.
It looks like there are some forms of attractions, but it's not like traditional like I did dino teacups type thing.
I want a park filled with nothing but Parasaurolophus. Just the whole park is just Parasaurolophus. Every attraction is Parasaurolophus.
I'm sure that would be around for a long time.
I mean, it's
people will tell their children about it.
Parasaurolophus is clearly the best Hadrosaurus.
Interesting fact about me: I don't like theme park rides.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you should go to Jurassic
I have
World
really
Evolution.
bad motion sensitivity, so.
Do you like dinosaurs?
Not really.
Or he's just an awful person.
Yeah. I don't mind dinosaurs are cool, and I liked them a lot when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
But like
and then I met Adam, and he ruined them.
I was never a huge Jurassic Park fan, so like I don't really like fictional dinosaurs that much, if that makes sense.
Well, it's weird, but okay.
They like Jurassic Park, Land Before Time, like never really.
Do you mean fictional dinosaurs as in dinosaurs in fiction? Because all the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park are real.
No, I mean dinosaurs in fiction.
Oh, okay.
The
I mean the Velociraptor.
There's also a few of them.
But I mean, you can just call it Utah Raptor is fine.
But like dinosaurs as like a part of like history are very interesting. Like dinosaurs.
I bet you really like Disney's Dinosaur, the movie.
When did that come out?
like 2006.
So I don't know that.
No,
2001.
Yeah.
Okay,
It
so
might have even been the 90s.
I don't
It
even.
wasn't the 90s.
I don't think I know that one. I didn't like Disney films that much as a kid.
The
There were
one
a
where
couple
the
standouts, but
Allosaurus.
No, Carnotaurus.
I don't know what it is.
the,
I don't even know what an Allosaurus
is it bad?
is.
It's bad, isn't it?
A monkey rides a dinosaur for most
So
of the
those,
movie.
well, they're lemurs.
A lemur.
Yeah, and so a bunch of lemurs riding on the back of an iguanodon, and
Sorry,
I don't,
Mr. Primatologist.
Yeah. See, lemurs kind of jumped the shark with Zaboomafoo, and they haven't been as cool since.
Zaboomafoo's fine.
That's why I said they jumped the shark with Zaboomafoo. Because he was the best, and now there's nowhere to go but down.
And down it goes.
And indeed, they will take that opportunity. Sorry to derail the whole Jurassic Park conversation with some interesting facts about theme park rides.
Rory, it seems to be very heavy into management, which is cool. But the parts of it seem pretty interesting, rather than it just being like build a cage and then the game sort of manages the dinosaurs for you.
I don't know any of these fucking actors.
In what?
In the dinosaur movie, D.B.
Oh.
Sweeney, Hayden...
Hayden Panettiere. You don't know her?
I mean, she's the only one.
She was in Until Dawn.
And Heroes.
Nobody knew her at the time.
Until Dawn? Get out of here.
What?
She was.
She was great in Until Dawn.
2000.
Yeah, but I mean, Until Dawn isn't Heroes.
2000.
Season 1.
But
I've
the
never
game,
seen Heroes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You should probably watch it. It's like...
Why would I watch Heroes when I can just play Until Dawn and get the
These
same...
two, I love how we're comparing
same
two totally
experience.
not related things at all. Like, they're not even kind of similar.
Well, to be fair, I would only watch Heroes to see Hayden Panettiere. And I can see her in Until Dawn.
That's true. Have you... it's on Netflix, by the way. So if you ever do want to watch it... But don't watch it before you watch Fringe. My least favorite thing
Fringe
about
is not on
Andrew is that
Netflix.
he hasn't seen Fringe yet.
It's not on Netflix. It was on Netflix, and I was going to watch it, but then the next day it was not on Netflix
Well,
anymore.
go and purchase it on DVD.
Purchase
Exactly,
on
yeah.
DVD.
Purchase on DVD, yeah. They go online and buy it through a legitimate retailer.
Will do. Through my VPN.
Have you seen Fringe,
As to protect
Aaron?
my identity while purchasing. What?
Anyway, a facet of the game that I thought looked interesting, because I want to get to this because it's something that you don't see in management games.
Yeah.
Is the ability to take control of your staff, basically. So you can go into like a third-person camera for the helicopters that go around your island, and for the patrol vehicles, like the jeeps, I guess. You can control those from like a GTA third-person camera, and like interact with your dinosaurs. So if you're trying to move one dinosaur from like a certain area of your park to another area, you can fly your helicopter in there. You can tranquilize them from like a over-the-shoulder camera.
Wait, you manually can do all
You
this?
can manually shoot them, yeah.
That's pretty fucking cool, actually.
And then
Y'all
take
ever play Operation Genesis?
that. Yeah, there's a lot of comparisons there. This
It's
seems
the first Jurassic Park builder.
yeah.
I thought this was the first one.
Nope.
No, this is a lot of people are calling this like the spiritual successor because it totally is.
Okay, yeah.
Because you can do all that in Operation Genesis
Yeah.
as well.
When did
and
that
so
come out?
2000.
a long time ago.
Okay.
2001?
So they're
think it's older
kind of
than
a
that.
pioneer then in that case,
Something
because
around
like
early
to be able to
2000s.
do all that in a management game in like the early 2000s.
It was
pretty
on the
impressive.
original Xbox.
Yeah.
Oh, gross. The
But also on PC.
On PC, okay, yeah, there we go. It's better now.
Yeah. And so it looks really good. It's a very pretty game. I think the dinosaurs, the animation looks great. I think visually they're very high quality. You can get like really close into them. It's not like in a lot of the top-down management games, you can't really get that close to the ground and see the detail. In this, you can like get right up in their face.
Can
So-
you play as a guy? Can you just walk into the exhibit and get eaten?
I don't think so, but I mean, your guests can get eaten.
Because I would buy that game if you could.
I haven't seen any gameplay where you can play as an individual like guest.
Spend 40 hours building the park and spend 30 seconds playing as a dude.
Wait.
and
You might be
Are
able
you
to-
not going to buy it?
You get
You said you would buy it if you could do that. Are you not going to buy it if you can't do that?
Right.
Okay, so that's okay. Yeah,
you might be able to.
The purchasable threshold for that.
In Planet Coaster, you can't control them, but you can put a camera in a guest, and you can like look at them from third person or first person if you want.
That's pretty cool.
And so you can just kind of play in hopes that
you can follow them around.
Exhibit.
Yeah, like you could delete a fence in front of a T-Rex,
warning sign, open the door,
and then play as the dude's perspective and watch him get eaten.
Andrew's back on board.
I did that all the time with Zoo Tycoon, the first game, because I had like the deluxe edition, which had like the
that was the Xbox
one
game.
No, I'm talking about
the really old.
The old, yeah.
And I remember you did that all the time, where I had my T-Rex paddock right next to my wildebeest paddock or whatever. And so I would often link the fence between the T-Rex paddock and the wildebeest paddock, and over would run the T-Rex and the wildebeest. Like, oh fuck!
I'm sorry. Can you slow down? There are T-Rexes in fucking Zoo Tycoon.
Yeah, there was 2 expansions for Zoo Tycoon. So the original Zoo Tycoon was just Zoo Tycoon, and then there was like a SeaWorld version, and then which was an expansion. Then there was like a prehistoric version.
Oh, prehistoric. Okay, that's pretty fucking
cool. And then
cool.
in the deluxe edition, they came with all 3, which is the one I got. Which was really fun until my cousin snapped the disc in 2.
That's why it's good we have digital games now, because Adam's cousin can stop breaking games.
I'll have to snap the Xbox, it's fine.
In the same way.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this game. I can't wait to play this game and to have my park run 1,000 times better than anybody else did, because like I said before, they're just animals, it's not hard. Everyone's like, you can't have a dinosaur theme park, Jurassic Park. Like, Jurassic Park was could have been run better by, like, syphilitic gibbons.
Well, so that's the thing. There's... with the management, there's a strong emphasis on like power as well. All your buildings need to be powered, so there could be like, I don't know, a power surge or something, because there is weathering in it as well. You might have like a thunderstorm or something, and maybe one of your generators will get hit and pop, and then one of your electric fences goes down, and now your monsters or your dinosaurs, whatever, dino monsters can escape.
Life finds a way.
Yeah, but here's the thing about that. All you got to do is put the T-Rex, instead of having the T-Rex at ground level, put him in a pit that's roughly 20 feet down, and he's not getting out of that, because here's the thing about T-Rex, they can't jump at all.
Well, what if you change his genome so that he can? And then...
Yeah, what if you genetically engineer a new type of dinosaur?
Well, then it's not a T-Rex.
Okay.
He's right.
You're right. What if you build a new animal?
Like some sort of Indominus Rex?
Yeah.
I'm not going to build that, because that's...
I have a question.
The T-Rex exists. It's already the world's most perfect animal.
I have a question.
Yep.
So weather can like knock down like stuff you have, right? So weather has an impact on things you build, etc.
Yeah.
Does weather have an impact ever on land? Like, it's like... I'm trying to think of an example where weather would have an impact on land, and I'm failing to.
A very minor effect, so like floods would cause major erosion.
This is the kind of thing.
Like
you mean like physical ground?
Yeah, exactly.
But like windstorms probably wouldn't.
Okay, but I mean, if you have a thing like a flood, it will impact the land.
Yes,
depending on the severity there was a flood here and now there's not. Okay,
that's how you get the sea dinosaurs. You get
they're not dinosaurs.
You get the
water
T-Rex.
sources.
They're not water sources.
Hey, give me that. I need
They're
this.
marine reptiles.
You get the T-Rex and you introduce water, and then you get one of those shark things.
So it's like Spore.
Yeah.
Shark thing.
Shout out to Spore, by the way. Anybody who's a fan of that game. That game's awesome.
One of those Indominus sharks.
Do you mean Megalodon?
Sure.
Okay.
God damn it.
That's how they came to be, right? The T-Rex fell in water.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Have we ever done a special on Spore? We're gonna do that someday.
We did, yes.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah!
You were on it, Rory.
What?
Yeah.
You're fucking with me. I wasn't on it.
Remember we made the world's stupidest creature?
That's so... How was I on it? I know all the... That's crazy. Okay,
was I on it?
Usually I'd be the one to say, like, who was on the episode. And now I don't know. My lore is failing me.
So apparently...
Hey,
oh, yeah.
oh, sorry. I've been doing Hey Adam a lot.
Hey, Adam. Do you... Hey, Andrew. Do you like Steven Spielberg?
Some of his stuff.
Cool. Me too. Do you read Ready Player One?
I have read Ready Player One.
Good. Well, you
Where do you
are
read?
it's statistically likely that you're going to like the movie. based not on that attribute, I gathered that you've read Ready Player One, but because most people like the movie. So Ready Player One came out, and it's released so far to positive reviews. I haven't seen it yet, but I will see it.
I'm surprised by that.
Apparently, the movie supports toxic fan culture.
Wait, what are you on about?
What would you classify as toxic fan culture?
I guess any sort of fan culture.
I don't know.
Apparently,
okay, Andrew's confusing me. What are you talking about?
Movie.
I read some article today that Ready Player One is a bad movie because the things that get referenced in the movie are involved in quote-unquote toxic fan culture.
Okay, yeah.
And that makes the movie bad, so nobody should see it.
I don't understand what you mean by toxic fan culture, though.
You know, basic shitlords online.
Oh.
Toxic fan culture. You know?
Alright, you said that phrase a lot, so...
Yeah, what do you mean? Just like shitty comments?
Nobody knows what it means, but it gets thrown around a lot.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
As a way to push certain things.
Well, I think primarily just a toxic culture is just YouTube for one. Just people who don't give a fuck about the thing and are only there to harass it, and troll people. So I don't really see how that translates
Aaron,
into...
stop being such a toxic fan culture.
Yeah, there's an invisible object there.
So, yeah, the movie's been generally well received. When I see it, I'll be able to talk about it. I don't think anyone's seen it. Has anybody here seen it? Adam?
No, not yet. I was going to go to Weekend, but other stuff happened.
I wish you saw your shadow in this game. You don't have a shadow.
You don't? Oh, that's weird. You can see your feet, though, so that's an improvement.
For all my Peter Pan fanboys.
Couldn't see your feet in the other games.
So yeah, well, we'll have something for you soon.
Yeah, I think the trailers look neat.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced it's something I would enjoy.
That's fair.
Mainly because I was such a huge fan of the book when it came out. Just because it was so weird and...
But then not that.
It had some cool moments in it for me. Yeah. I enjoyed it. I was reading it and I had a good time in my life, I think. Yeah. I can't remember, actually.
I liked a lot of the obscure references in it, because it's very easy to be like, oh man, my favorite 80s thing is He-Man, but it's very hard to say, my favorite giant robot is Larpedon, and I'm like, who the fuck is Larpedon? I had to look it up, I'm like, oh!
It didn't feel like the book was written for people. It was written for the author.
Yeah.
Is what it felt
okay,
like.
yeah. That's kind of cool.
Pandering.
Yeah, and I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about GTA 5 on PC handing out bans left and right, supposedly due to coding error. But the thing is, I don't know anything about that.
I think
so
I know
we got
who
Aaron
does
talking about it.
I was going to ask Adam.
Oh, okay. Is that who posted it on the list?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Adam, tell us about GTA 5 handing out bans left and right, supposedly due to coding error.
So, the issue is that there's a coding error in GTA 5 Online, specifically on the PC version, and it's passing up bans left and right.
Shit.
I don't know why you asked me that. I didn't have this
Andrew told me you had the list.
Aaron, what's going on?
We can take an interesting topic and then just shed it of life immediately.
What's going on here?
Well, so... The Rockstar recently added, I think, remember in Vice City they had it was a Hot Ring Nights, I think it was, with the stadium where you could drive the stock cars in it.
Yeah.
They kind of added a game mode back into GTA 5 that's similar to that. They added a bunch of new cars that looked similar to those stock cars and a couple new races. And I guess whatever they added with that update...
Hot Ring Nights, by the way, is what happens after you eat Mexican food.
That's maybe what they were getting at, I don't know.
I doubt it.
I don't know. Rockstar's humor is very weird sometimes. It's like not obvious, but usually disgusting. Anyway, so I guess whatever they added with that was some weird few lines of code that started messing with their.
This is how Skynet happened, by the way.
Cheat or tampering software or something to do with the game. Anyway. So pretty much everybody has logged in on PC within the past couple of weeks, I think it's been ongoing for maybe a week or two, has been banned mostly. Not everybody.
Two? Why hasn't it been fixed yet?
I think it's been fixed now, but the Rockstar was ignoring it for a while because they just apparently ignore ban claims.
Nobody cares about PC.
Well, I think it was primarily just
half of our user base has been banned.
Oh well, we made a lot of money.
So people were getting notifications.
That's how GTA 5 Online died.
Fuck it.
Rockstar's like, fuck it.
All right,
We've milked this car's first.
all right, time to bring out GTA 6.
All right, release Red Dead. Red Dead comes out tomorrow because they're going to be bought.
That's how you kill
They've got
Red
the next
Dead
4
immediately.
games already made.
They're
just waiting for...
They're waiting for GTA 5 to become more trouble than it's worth.
Red Dead actually came out the year after Red Dead 1.
Yeah.
And
Anyway, yeah, so people were getting notifications that they were banned for a month. And when the ban was lifted, or will be lifted, sometime in April, from a lot of the screenshots that I've been seeing, that their account would be reset. So
yeah.
all of their characters and all of their money gone, apart from any shark cards that you purchased, that money would be put back into your account.
Did you get banned?
No, I didn't get banned. I don't know how, because I haven't personally cheated, but I've been given a lot of money by modders, so I'm sure Rockstar look at my account and go, yeah, he didn't earn any of this. But yeah,
that would piss me off. That would make me stop playing GTA 5 Online. If I logged in, got accused of cheating, got banned, lost all of my shit, and be like, "Yeah, you're back at level 1 now in a month when you get to play this game again." I'm like, "Oh, thanks," and there goes my interest ever playing this piece of shit.
Yeah,
again.
I think some people have had their accounts restored, but they haven't gotten everything back yet. And there's a lot of people that have still lost a lot of stuff. So it's really great on Rockstar's part here, especially with the Red Dead coming out. In a couple of months.
When does Red Dead come out? It's very soon.
October, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like they wouldn't care, except for they want people to buy Red Dead. So maybe like, not have this be a problem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, reset the PR a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure Red Dead will do fine anyways because it's Red Dead and people love it. But
yeah, it's just always the hiccup thing. But people weren't sure for a little while. They thought it might be just Rockstar's like, you know what, fuck it, let's ban everybody who's cheating because fuck it, we think you're cheating, fuck them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
delete their shit.
Fuck them.
So,
what else we got? The Walking Dead final season. Yes, that's right, folks. It's finally over. Finished Clementine. Oh, it's the game. Never mind.
It's the game.
All right. Is the show over yet?
Why do you keep reading?
Great. Good stuff. Finished Clementine's story. Well,
so
it might have been
finishes.
So the latest season of The Walking Dead by Telltale was season 3. I haven't played that yet. Have you played it, Aaron?
I have not.
No.
I bought a copy of it and then gave it to you.
Yeah, you gave it to me. I haven't gotten around to playing it yet. But the 4th season will apparently be its final.
These fucking podcasts are getting longer and longer.
Holy crap, we're really long. Anyway, this will reportedly be the end of Clementine's story. The one screenshot I've seen of it has Clementine as a woman now, and she's going around with the baby from episode 2, who I assume is a child in season 3.
Yeah, I guess. Clementine will finally be on Rule 34.
Oh, she already is.
Oh, is she? Oh, okay.
She was on Rule 34 back in season 1.
I feel like you need a more clear grasp of the Rule 34 thing.
Now she can legally be on Rule 34.
Adam's making groaning sounds. Do you not like the Walking Dead game, Adam?
I don't like children on Rule 34.
I think you're in good company in that regard.
It didn't start with Clementine, and it's not going to end with Clementine.
No, but maybe it should.
She's not a real human though, Adam. She can't consent anyway.
Yeah, there you go.
We've already had this debate.
Yeah, we had this discussion last week, I believe.
Yeah.
People are going to think
Not
this is all
online.
we talk about.
Probably.
Well, to be fair,
I don't
this
condone
takes up
the
a
behavior.
lot of our talking time. More than some would say is healthy.
Yeah.
This particular topic, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's a relevant topic, I guess. It's like comes up a lot.
Didn't even use any of its meat.
Yeah, whatever.
Are we still talking about?
I'm talking about the deer.
Yeah, let's pop back into Walking Dead before it gets too Phil Spencer bannable.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Phil Spencer.
For all the people watching this on OneDrive,
he's gonna be tapping his
save the PixelJunkies podcast to your OneDrive.
Double tapping his watches. Clued up, boys.
He's got to make sure they're all still working.
Yeah.
We're done now. Bye.
Bye.
No, I wasn't saying clue up the podcast. I was just saying Phil's.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, also, It's time to clue up the podcast.
It also is that time.
We'll be back next week.
Thank you all for joining us on this wonderful Friday night.
I'll be reviewing Tomb Raider next week.
There are some days where I'm like, why isn't Pixel Junkies making any money off this? And then there's other days where I'm like, oh yeah, that's why.
It's because we're demonetized, by the way. It's totally not because no one watches it.
And maybe a little overshadowed with Far Cry here. I mean, I didn't say anything about it, and I think Andrew covered all the points, but I think it's worth noting that this game came out and wasn't broken.
That's a good point.
Well,
I don't think it. There's a couple of bugs, but it's playable. It's not a frame rate mess.
No, it runs really well.
It runs really well. There's been a couple of frame dips in this podcast, but that's primarily because it's extended to the TV, which for some reason robs like 10 frames a second here and there.
It's a gorgeous game.
But for the most part, for me,
it's
run at a solid 60. And everything's on Ultra, so...
But yeah, I'll be talking about Tomb Raider next week, and probably, maybe Ready Player One. I'd like to talk about Ready Player One next week.
Cool.
So yeah.
Tomb Raider.
Yeah,
the film, yeah. I can go back and talk about a game.
Good luck watching that out. And
have you seen Tomb Raider?
No, I've seen it before.
You're going to see it. Okay. All right.
Is it only out in Mount Pearl now?
Probably.
I think that's still... That came out in like
a
week ago.
Yeah, but then other movies came out and shoved it off. Probably. I don't know. Anyway, goodbye. I'm tired. I'm falling asleep here. Let's fucking end.
All right, later.
Bye.
See you next time.